Brought to you by patreon.com/inspireddisorder and inspireddisorder.com/ting.
What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.
Babyteeth, independent movie that just hit Hulu, a movie that I heard somebody talk about. So when I saw it hit my feed, I figured, let's check this out. I love independent films, and anytime I hear anything, any kind of recommendation of a film, then I usually check it out. So I did, and this movie, while being very good, it's a very beautiful movie, but it's also very tragic. It's very sad. Dealing with family dysfunction, very similar in a lot of ways to American Beauty, but less. It's like a different flavor of family dysfunction because it is a UK film. It's based in the UK. It's a small family. It's the daughter, 16-year-old daughter, dad, and a mom. The daughter is dealing with cancer, which is something that's like it's kind of like slowly introduced into this film. It's not like it's very subtle and subdued. A lot of the things that would be extremely amplified in an American production. So it's got this 16-year-old girl and her family, and she meets this 23-year-old, basically 23-year-old Theo Von. I could not stop thinking about how much this actor looks exactly like Theo Von, which, if you're not familiar, you don't know who that is. Theo Von's a stand-up comedian. He also hosts a bunch of podcasts, but very funny comedian. Highly recommend checking out his work. But definitely this kid looks like it's really like Theo Von went in a time machine to film this movie when he was in his early 20s. So she meets this 23-year-old Theo Von at a train station, and they kind of hit it off. I mean, she's kind of in a situation where she wants to experience more of life because, she might not survive. And this 23-year-old kid, he's like, he's a degenerate. He sells drugs and he kind of just does what he wants. He's been kicked out of his home. So he's like, he's a troublemaker. He's the bad boy, let's say. And so, she wants to experience that in some ways. So their kind of love story is a little bit disturbing, a little bit problematic, I would say, just the age range of him being 23 and her being 16, which is something that comes up in the film also. And it's not really, their relationship isn't like it's definitely more of a friendship at the beginning. Like, it takes a while before there's a romantic relationship there, and which is another thing that's like, if this was an American production, there would have been a sex scene at the beginning of the movie, like right when they first met or something like that. People would be acting like super over dramatic. There's a scene in this movie where they're having a dinner party, right? Things are kind of going well, right? Everything's kind of a lot of problems and dysfunctions that have happened at this point in the movie. Like, things are going well, and like all the neighbors and family and friends kind of come over for a dinner party, and one of the neighbors is a pregnant lady. And during this party, right, like the daughter and the mom are starting to play some music. It's music and dancing are kind of like this through line throughout the movie to kind of set a tone. It's the thing that the daughter's learning to play violin, but like she goes to a teacher that also taught her mom. Like, her mom is a musician. So it's like, it's very kind of this through line, this characteristic of this movie, of music. And then the daughter dances, like she finds herself just getting lost in dancing to music. So they're getting together to play this song during this dinner party, and quietly this pregnant lady gets up. She talks to the guy I think it was the music teacher that's sitting next to her around the table. And she's like, "Do you have your car?" And they get up quietly and they leave. And they just, like, people notice that they're leaving and they're like, "Wait, is she giving birth right now?" Versus if this were an American production, that pregnant lady would have made the whole situation about her. It would have been pregnant lady screams, I'm giving birth. And then the whole dinner party would be like all about her and like rushing. It's like, so like so many moments in this movie are like, instead of going to 11, turning up to 11 with reactions, they're so subtle. And the kind of it's like, so multiple times I'm expecting a certain reaction and the complete opposite happens, and I love that. I love it. I love it when a movie, I mean, just watching films and TV shows and stuff that are set in different countries, you get different you get different perspectives and different ways of how to communicate and how to tell stories, and different types of characters and characters acting in different types of ways, instead of the constantly over dramatic way that people act, not only in like US movies and TV shows, but just people in general in the United States. I mean, everybody is so like about themselves and so like trying to become famous, like just to have the spotlight on them, just like to be attention whores, is such an American trait that it's refreshing to see people that are way more subdued and way more like, I mean, in that moment, she cares so much more about not to disturb the other people and the other people's enjoyment of this really nice moment of this dinner party, that she's quietly leaving to go give birth, right? And of course, they all noticed that she was leaving, and they had that moment where everybody's like, "Oh shit, let's help out." But it's done in such a different way that I really appreciated. The dad, I mean, you see, like the mom's got her problems; she's drugged up, because she has this daughter that's, who knows what her life expectancy is going to be. Her dad's a therapist, a psychiatrist. He's also like this drug pusher. Like his answer for everything is to prescribe somebody drugs. And it's just kind of this crazy situation. And then, the daughter brings this 23-year-old hoodlum home, and, you get to know everybody. You get to see the heart and the real, like, just caring that people have. And also, like, people that have their problems, they still have their problems. It's not like this magical Disney moment where, like, oh, the hoodlum guy is all of a sudden good. Like, there's multiple times they catch this guy trying to steal from him. And it's like this constant back and forth with this 16-year-old that loves this guy, right? Because he's a little older, because, she knows she could be potentially dying soon. But also, he's a cool guy or whatever. She really likes him. And it's hard for her to like a guy that's constantly trying to steal, constantly trying to take advantage. And take advantage in stealing, not take advantage sexually. Like, it's like that. As far as like the physical interactions with them, it's like completely different than you would see in most films. The way this movie ends is tragic. I mean, how the moment they find out, when she decides to do what she wants to do, to kind of like this drastic measure she wants to have, like, and it's not something that's brought up throughout the movie. It's just something that happens. Like, she knows she's suffering. She's just in pain. She's sick. She knows she's dying, and she doesn't want to live the rest of her life in pain and agony, and she wants to end it. She wants to be able to have control over how she goes out, and she tries. It's there's this scene where she's trying to convince her boyfriend, this Theo Von guy, which his name's Moses in the movie. She tries to convince him to kill her, and he can't do it. And then it's just like a very beautiful scene how it all ends up going. When everybody finds out the next morning, when her parents find out the next morning, it's like another one of those situations where most movies and most storytellers would have the characters screaming and acting hysterical. It's way more subdued, way more quiet, way more like managed. And it's like it's just another one of the many scenes in this movie that really just kind of shook me as far as what I expected versus what I got, and I really enjoy it. There's some really painful movie, and then there's a scene where it's like a flashback scene to where another time when they were all at the beach, and there's this picture that's going to be taken, and she asks her dad to look after Moses when she's gone, and it's like it shows that the dad knew that day was going to come, that it was probably going to she was probably going to end things on her own, and she wants this dude to be part of her family when she's gone. It's so touching, so touching. It was a really amazing film, painful to watch, but just by the end of it, like my heart, I was in tears, I was broken, and it's just an amazing story, amazingly acted and told, and I really enjoyed it. So check it out on Hulu. Babyteeth, great movie, painful movie. Make sure you support the show on Patreon, patreon.com/inspired disorder. You can binge the full week of The Ray Taylor Show ad-free, save a ton of money on The Many Faces, and download raw Photoshop files of all the Photoshops I do. It's only $3 a month to sign up. You get a bunch of benefits, so sign up now over at patreon.com/inspired disorder. Get yourself $25 in cell phone credit through Ting. Sign up through my link, inspireddisorder.com/Ting. Get yourself some amazing cell phone service at low rates, starting off with, of course, the $25 credit when you sign up through my link, inspireddisorder.com/Ting. It's a cell phone service that I use. I brought my iPhone over to it. I pay like $15 a month because I'm not using any data. I'm not using any minutes because I'm working from home. And if you're working from home and you want to save tons of money on your cell phone service, I would recommend checking out Ting. Go through my link, inspireddisorder.com/Ting, and get yourself $25 in credit that you can use to transfer your device, to buy a device, to pay for your monthly bill, whatever you want, $25. Because I love you. New episodes of The Ray Taylor Show come out every single day. Subscribe on IGTV, YouTube, and everywhere else podcasts are found. Binge the full week ad-free over at patreon.com/inspired disorder. Buy Ray Taylor Show merch over at inspireddisorder.com, and follow the show on Instagram at Ray Taylor Show. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace out!